Business has 4 life cycles, right? 4 life cycles. You introduce a business, you grow the business, and then you mature the business. You don't difference between marketing, sales, and business development. They're not the same, right? Advertisement is part of a channel to market your product. If you want Tom, you need to brainstorm. You need to crack your head. Having a customer is not enough. Having an employee is not enough. Retaining that employee for an HR person is a goal. Right, so basically today I'm focusing on project to prototype, turning academic ideas into scalable, sustainable businesses. And then the focus is on precision planning. 24 hours, it's not 48 hours. 24 hours is what everybody has. So on flights, in cars, if you have the chance, I beg you, download a book. Read a part of it. Try to listen to a podcast. Most of the podcasts, they will do summaries of something. It's easy to follow through. Try to listen to some favorite guys like my mentor in Ghana, City TV, City FM, Bernard Able, or listen to Kwabena Obenda. These are like guys changing the storyline, right? And then features Kwame. All these guys are doing super good. So something, download offline videos and watch them. If you have to take energy drinks, don't take the one that will destroy your kidney to be able to do that if you are doing a night journey. I mean, so far, Lucas said it's not giving any problem. So maybe spend some money on that. And this is where the shocker is. From the beginning, please take note, or take notice, I should say. An average of 534,000 students graduate from the senior high school in Ghana. Do this on average times 10, you get an African average. Don't do 54, just do 10. 534,000 complete senior high school. Now that we have free senior high school, it's going to be consistent, right? And then only 107,000 graduate from tertiary each year. What's the variance? An approximate 400,000. Are you following? Yes. Right? So the challenge is actually about the conversion and the sustainability. So we do a lot of sloganeering in Africa, but that's not what we need. We need actual work. So one village, one dam, forgive me, we're on Facebook, one district. Nice. But you see, it was a sham. 8 years. 65% of those of us who complete school, KNUST, UMAT, everything together, we stop there. We don't continue education, or we go job hunting after senior national service. 65%. 10% are fortunate. From where they come, they're able to continue, go to do another degree or a master's or anything, and then they continue. If you're lucky, you can travel out, and we say we are seeking greener pastures and we are destroying our continent. And then 15% are retained after service. Unfortunately, 10% are able to start a new course of life or a business, and only about 3% are successful. So the issue of our startups that you mentioned, most of us are deliberate. We do a Series A funding, we stop the business, we chop the money, we buy a new Benz to show the girls that we have come. Because we know that we will die in the Benz. Like, we know our roads will kill us easily. We know several things distorts our life so easily than in the West. And that's why we want to get some greener pastures in the West. Are you following me so far? Yes. Now, if I told you that I made these figures up, would you believe it? Because there's no statistics. But I worked with a couple of people and I did a sampling, and this is what I had approximately. But check yourself. How is it going so far? Isn't it relative? So first of all, we want to talk about one thing. As students, we need to have the innovation pipeline set. And the first thing we do is to do research and development. All of us, please, take it serious. Sometimes we do a lot of lip service. We talk a lot, and there's a little action or no action at all. But if you can only jump or leapfrog to really doing something little on a daily basis, an hourly basis, a minute by minute basis, maybe a second by second basis, I'm sure the story will be different in 1 year, right? So the first thing is that Google started as a school project work. Airbnb is a side business. There's a guy who graduated here, KNUST, about 2 years ago. He's now doing hand granule paste. I helped him with FDA stuff. We're working on marketing in 32 African countries now. And the guy is making it very big. After service, he's been able to secure $20,000 already from the owner, Mr. Richard Corte, the owner of Quick Loan. These guys who do. And they're doing several other series B, C funding for him because granule paste in Ghana, the one on the market, is not healthy. There's a level of aflatoxins, a chemical that gives you a lot of oil on the granule soup, but it kills you. So once you go through the right processing, preservation, value additioning, you get something like granule and granule paste. When we close, I can share a few pictures. We can look at how we can do business with you on campus because people still cook on campus, right? I actually met one young man before I came in here, and then he's also been able to do the mushroom, soya bean kind of thing into a protein for breakfast or cereal foods, right? And then they have also done same mushroom, a little flour to be able to get it the intactness it wants or that kind of tact it deserves, sorry. And what they are doing currently is that they're able to do the same Indomie you buy, but more healthy, right? You know him, Joseph Anoche. I just met him about 3 or 4 hours ago before I entered. So essentially, you should be able to do something a little different by being innovative, thinking outside the box. The problem we have in Africa, and by Africa I mean that I've done now 32 countries, and I am sure that it's an African problem. It's an African problem, is that we follow what we call logic. It's nice. So immediately we start doing, just yesterday, or this dawn, when I got to Kumasi, I saw a video, fortunately for me, and I'm using it now. The young man said, we think logically. So when somebody says 2, 4, 6, let's continue. Oh, come on, let's do that. You get it? It's so simple. But when I start doing 6, 35, 22, what's the next number? Was it? And yeah, easy maths here. But what I'm trying to say is that is not logic, so it's difficult to follow a pattern. So sometimes all you need to do to be different in being innovative is to ignore the pattern, ignore the status quo, and create your own. Are we on the same page? Sometimes just that you need. Sometimes. Now, innovation is implementing idea that results in introducing new goods. First of all, what is the problem in the market? What is the problem? We have said this thing several times. I have gone to several seminars and I've listened to it several times, but it was difficult to churn it out. So make it very, very personal first, and then see if you can scale it to family and friends. And it's obvious that if they are humans and they fall within a demography, the kind of people, the age, what they do and everything, can actually extrapolate into a larger audience. So I came with my friend Eka Regina. We met on a flight from Dubai. She is into perfumes and she's been in Ghana for 2 years. Yes. And she actually decided to serve a few people in Formina and the family to start with. That place, you know, get a boutique and a perfume shop. So right from the beginning, she's creating a difference to be able to make people smell better. And I'm sure she brought a few samples. I don't know what you want to sell. Did you bring some samples to sell? When we close, you can try. And then market research. I actually have a whole document on market research I've shared with Derek. So he should be able to give you a copy if you request, because it's a whole thing. I presented that about 3 years ago to a social media audience, and I think it's helped about 6 of them as of now because I'm coaching them, right? And then the market research will actually come with feasibility, which means that you should have real world validation. It shouldn't be because you sat in your room and then you asked. Now that's what AI and ML is able to do for you, right? You can actually type a thing if you know how to do good prompt engineering. Ask it a question and you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed what you get. So if you are the kind of person that does copy and paste, you paste a lot of nonsense, right? So you need to have a real world validation of the thought. And one of them is Stay Connect Africa. I realize that campuses, particularly, car parks, particularly, and then because I've been in the telecom space since 2018 as a business development person, I realized that internet was not just a typical word of mouth expensive, but it was really expensive, right? You can travel and your roaming is cheaper than your local cost. And you want to stay wherever you travel to. You get access to Wi-Fi and it's highly secured, but it collects a lot of data, right? So I said, Stay Connect Africa. My boss and I remember we decided to have a way to give people internet right from airport of London to their various hotels by providing some already enabled SIM card, MiFi's labeled like that. So you don't need to remove your SIM card and then basically buy a SIM card from the. You're actually going to spend like a week or 2 days. You have been here for 2 months, so it's sensible if you have a local number. You get it? But then we also now translated this to campuses where you can do now 6 cities unlimited data for the whole day. Do you get it? And we're going to replicate it in several campuses of choice. What we realize is that because of local bureaucracies, we'll better do private hostels and then we build little by little, right? We've invested almost 150,000 cities and now we are recovering 18,000 cities. So just imagine if you don't have their passion, you would leave it. But we are lucky we still have some equipment, so praise the Lord, right? Are you a believer? Say hallelujah. Right. So you need to have real world stuff. I also realize that most of us come from school and we have hardly a way to start. So Hey Time Africa Studios is creating the content, but the focus is to create a community of 5 million Africans or African enthusiasts who are just interested to join a community. So by the time we are done, all the food science people can join hands and form a big industry player. We don't want to do smaller units. That's what is existing now. So by the time you realize competition or lack of funding is kicking you out. So just imagine if you have 100 people who are from the agric department in this school, after graduation, come together to raise $1,000 or 1,000 cedis each after 1 year. Is it not going to be possible to raise 1,000 each after 1 year? Right? But then the sweetness is that, like you said, scalability. 100 of you put it together, that's 100,000. And the right training, the right coaching, the right internal mechanisms, project management platforms, you are all co-founders. Just like Facebook had only Mark Zuckerberg, but there are tons of people who are invested. They're keeping quiet. Driving the Lamborghinis in the States, especially in Asia, Dubai particularly, and you see them and you realize that they've not lived at all because they're doing better than you're doing. So crowdfunding, coming together, forming a synergy or collaborations are the way or is the way to go. Are we on the same page, sir? Now, ideation. I'll talk about these various things in the next slide, just so that we're on the same page. This is one of the longest I'm going to have time to spend on, and I want you to follow through keenly. Are we on the same page? So, this is called a business model canvas. If you really want to have any successful business, these are the 9 key areas you need to attend to. You may not get all of them intact, but try to understand that you're going to build them from the beginning. And I like what the previous speakers had said, and then Ellie also said same, that you cannot get a perfect idea. In fact, some of us have been perfectionists for years until we're really, really hungry, until we really had to pay rent, right? And then we said, okay, enough of the perfectionism. Now, in the same house, people are connected to my Wi-Fi. I wanted to connect to a big space like Circle, Accra, so I can get 100, 200 customers per day. But now I have like 4 people and they can pay my data cost and I can still get balance. I've not done marketing. I just spoken to friends that I have internet. I can give internet, pay 250 cedis per month, enjoy unlimited internet because I'm on Starlink. So there are several ways to reach your goal until you don't want to reach it. Are we okay? So your key partners, who do you want to be your investors? I heard Derek mention profiling them, analyzing them. Very important. And actually heard, what's her name? Forgive me.
Emmanuel.
Bridget, yes. Bridget mentioned calling people are done because you know they are. This is because you know you have profiled them. These are high value people. They work with people in Asia virtually between 9 p.m. to about 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So they're trying to close their books and plan the next day. That's where you can catch them. Don't feel like you are disturbing them. Just make sure your message is sensible. It will catch their attention. But you need to profile the people. You need to do a very good profiling. My former boss, Issa Abdullah Afugu, cheers to him, did something called sitting. Before we got the first business from one of the major players in Ghana in mobile network, he had to sit in that office for 3 months, observing how the CEO comes, what time he comes, who is his favorite person, how they vibe in the reception, what floor he's on. 3 months. He will sit early, 7 o'clock a.m. He's already there in the reception, watching how they move, and then he could just check on LinkedIn. Who is this person? Who is that? Who is that? Until they went and said, this is what we can offer you, but what we want to do is to make it exclusive. And it was easy to connect. All the fiber broadband you have around was just an initiative of the former company I belonged to, Eaton Engineering. Until the other players came in, they are already dominated because they did profiling. Are we on the same page? So profile people you want to work with. You met Christopher, you met what's the name? Patricia. There's another name. Chelsea, yes. And then you've met Bridget. Profile them. Don't just mention their company names. It's not enough. Profile them. You can capture their attention easily. And if they are not able to give you a handout or a pamphlet, they could play a role in reviewing something and become an accountable partner to an endeavor you want to have. Can we go ahead? So these partners are different stages. You can get the document and read better and get back to me so that we can talk. And then the activities. This is very important. If you want to develop a prototype, which I'll come to in a minute, the activities you should go through. And it's very key. What technology do you want to do or use? Like you said, I liked it very well, and I'm going to pick a cue from that. Do you have a replica of an existing technology that you would have to just leverage on so you can scale? Instead of spending X amount, you can spend Y and still achieve your result and we save some money, right? Some of us don't want to drive a Corolla now, so we are adding all the money up to buy a Benz because we want to have a social class. Meanwhile, the Corolla money you have now, by the time you get the Benz money, would have inflated, depreciated in any way, and then the cost of living would have changed a lot of course of actions, right? So please, whatever you can do now, do that and start building on it one by one. The third is value proposition. I'll come to in a minute. Customer relationship is very important. Which customers are you trying to deal with? There are people who come to me and they come with colognes and sprays. You don't know me. I don't do sprays. I have a problem with my nostril. I used not to be able to do watches because once I sweat, my watch goes off. Until somebody bought me an outdoor watch of $350. I realized that it was my money. So I could buy a better watch, a wristwatch, right? So you would have to basically check which kind of people, the demography of the people, ease of use after sales. How do you want to engage with them? Which people and what community do you want to gather? You want to gather a community that will always come back. They will always come back. So if you sell things that people would use one time, it's good. Luxury is good, but you would hardly get a conversion or a sale. So try to have a way to bring them into several value chains, and I'll come to that in a minute, so that they can get it and be coming to you every time. Some of us learned this thing the hard way. You're getting it free, please take it serious. Your key resources, I think I'll come to when I'm dealing with value proposition. And then channels. These are very common channels. Word of mouth, AdSense, Google AdSense is the most popular. Social media. Now, most of us would have 20K. I'm sure some of the nice girls will have 30K followers, but we don't sell anything to them. I can send a connection request on LinkedIn, and because my head is round and big, it takes 2 months before I can get a response. But a lady will send the same and we'll get a response quickly. So what is your competitive advantage with what is available to you? That's actually what they mean by saying use what you have to get what you want, not the other way around. And if I'll to budget off. Then I'll talk about these two, then I'll go to the next slide. Revenue streams, very important. How would you want to make money on the thing you're trying to develop? The thing, before you develop a thing, you need to have an understanding of where you want to go. Right? So how would you make money? Do you want to do periodic subscriptions, monthly, weekly, daily? Do you want to do, Derek? Do you want to do a marketplace invasion where you can actually go and do an activation in one town, scatter the entire place for 1 week? You don't go there again until you realize that the thing you gave them has a shelf life of say 2 weeks or 1 month or 1 year. Then you go back there to push it up. Are we on the same page? So very, very key. And then whether you want to do advertisement, everybody's trying to do advertisement, but do you really need advertisement? Right? Because advertisement comes with a lot of indicators. Which people you want to target, where they are, what they do, will determine what medium you could use to reach them. So you can post a thing and you get 20,000 likes, but 1 sale. You can actually have a sponsored ad and still get 1 sale. I beg you, don't waste your time. You are not in the business of having likes and followers, and the business of making sales. Don't be fooled with the difference between the two. Can we go ahead? Your cost structure should include something. That's what I saw with the meeting we had today. They were making a thing at 3,000 cedis, but their profit was 7,000. So their sales or their revenue was 3,700. And I asked a simple question: the people who manage the production line, how do you pay them? So it's you were about 7 boys. They're doing our own thing. I said, put what we call sweat equity into that, because whatever price you introduce your package with, and people tend to like it. Once you increase the price, they'll leave you, because they don't owe you a thing. Especially if it is food, they can still eat their banquet and watch it, and they'll be okay. You need to drive both their taste and preferences and their pocket. So do something that can be very uniform and grow. There's something called a normal distribution curve. You climb, you maintain. A business has 4 life cycles, right? 4 life cycles. You introduce a business, you grow the business, and then you mature the business. You don't just introduce and start charging X amount, but you want to be able to do that gradually without even seeming, do it like seamlessly. That's the word. Can we go ahead? And then the last point of the business cycle, is called decline. When the business will fail, you need to have an exit strategy as part of your structures you build. So your infrastructure should focus that. Sometimes you are buying something from China, you can do 5 years, and by 5 years, a new thing has come to replace it, and you are not competitive anymore. So try to negotiate, do some modifications if possible, and maintain that kind of progressive adjustment as and when is important. Are we okay so far? I am teaching, so I should ask you all these things, just like a lecturer. Yes, madam. Super, we'll get there in a minute, how to convert those things. But the point about 1 sale is that what you want to do is to sell. You don't want to market. There's a difference between marketing, sales, and business development. They're not the same, right? Advertisement is part of a channel to market your product. If you want to be popular, then continue advertising. But if you want to churn, if you want to do sales, find a more unique, precise way of getting to convert. And that means that you need to do a lot of work. If you need to get people called closers to travel to close people for you, that's something I do. Do all the plenty talk and let me know the person. I'll take 2 months to tell the person. When I go, all things being equal, he'll buy or he'll do a deposit, right? Build that kind of character, because it was not so when I was starting my business development journey. It was not so. The first time I got $1 million in my account, $1 million Ghana cedis in my account, I nearly flew. I nearly got out of the country. And that $1 million Ghana cedis is 1.4 million. Only 134,000 was supposed to come to me. But I nearly stole the money because I had not seen that kind of money before. So Apostle Joseph Seban said, everybody who is born out of deprivation is on a revenge mission. Right? So be careful how you target. So that you don't just go, sometimes, oh, it's fine, I want to buy 100. By the time you're going home, your tongues will change. 100, let me make him pay first. When I make him pay, I'll travel to my hometown and go and look for better raw materials. It's a lie. By the time you come back, the money is finished. And you cannot supply. And your reputation is tainted, right? Tainted, sorry. And you are suffering. And you cannot easily get another opportunity. But you may need to just break even, like someone said earlier, or even catch a loss, right? Catch a loss, sorry, only to be able to build upon that to grow. So that's the essence, and this will speak to it about the process of ideation and then the value proposition. Maybe that's where I'll end. We have said several times, even in science, that one of the ways to solve a problem is to identify the problem. But problem identification is not just talking about a problem. No. It's actually analyzing the problem. So there are 4 stages of change management. 4 stages. You need to form the change out of the problem. You need to understand that this needs to be changed. Prices of data is expensive, change it. You need that's the first stage. Then before you talk about how you change it, you need to storm. You need to brainstorm. You need to crack your head. You need to ask questions. You need to talk to people. And that's the problem we have. So let me answer that question before I forget. Confidentiality clauses. So if you're sharing an email of your pitch deck or your proposal or your business plan to a prospective investor, one of the best things to do is to issue a disclaimer at the bottom of the email. If you cannot get IP passed or copyright passed at various registration centers, right? Issue, this message is intended for you only. Any use without my consent is criminal, and I have the right. So by the time you realize somebody has copied your story, all you need is evidence. You don't need to prove anything. Evidence that I sent this email to this man, this is his investment, and before that or hitherto, he didn't have that idea. So he needs to pay me a damage of $1 million Ghana cedis. He will settle out of court. Maybe 500,000 cedis. It will change your life for a long time than you losing something. If you believe that what you have is so uniquely admonished than what actually is existing in the market and you're not a copycat. We're good? The third stage of change management, which works with developing and refining ideas, is called normalizing the idea. Norm it. Make it a norm. Make it a norm. So everybody you worked with, when you brainstorm, and let me give you a typical example. We want to change this place to a bigger hall or a lecture hall, but it's been used for events for years, right? The innovation hub is just below, and then this is for conferences like this. At once, because of our student population, the office would want to turn it into a lecture hall for a specific elective subject or something, right? If they announce it and the board have booked this place, there will be confusion. So the announcement is the formation of the change. The confusion is the storming, the brainstorming. You need to now talk to people. We are sorry, we have to give you an alternative and everything. And then it becomes a norm. So now people come to understand that this is a place that can also be converted into a lecture hall. That leads to the fourth one, which is called performance or performing. It's easy to now get results because nobody will cause any confusion anymore. But if you just come and say, I'm the chancellor, the vice chancellor, this is my decision, students will break everything here. And because you cannot catch them, you add it to their next year bill. And everybody is paying for it. Meanwhile, the students are like 6. Are we on the same page? Once you do that, you categorize the various actions, and then you want to prioritize what you want to start first. Very important. Then finally, you start implementation. This is one of the most important aspects of getting to have a customer and retaining them. A customer and retaining them. having a customer is not enough. Having an employee is not enough. Retaining that employee for an HR person is a goal. The same way you need to retain a customer and make sure that they buy from you and you only. And this example, there's a network company in Ghana. I cannot mention names. I'm not giving clearance to do. They are number one now, but they want to have a way to be the only one. So they maintain innovation, everything. I don't know about what you're saying. I'm innocent. They maintain that they are always everywhere. They are building new stuff. And you can force regulations on their neck, increase your prices so that people will go to the next, and people will still go to them because they give you value, right? So value creation is one of the key things to creating a prototype. Without it, your prototype process is not complete, right? So first of all, like I said, you need to profile your customers. What they do, where are they, how old are they, how long will they live? We don't even know the median age in Ghana, and you want to do business. You don't know when your customers will die. You know that people can retire, but people don't retire because their disposable income is that small. They need to be able to hold on to it. People are changing their date of birth to be able to work even when they are holding walking sticks and stuff, right? You need to create that profile of the kind of people you want to serve. Once you do that, you will know their challenges. And like I've said right now, some of them, their challenge is that they need a thing, but their disposable income is that small. Disposable income is the amount of money you can spend at the end of a period. So when they pay you salary, and you know that X goes into savings, Y goes into investment, the remaining ones take care of my expenses. Introducing a new thing that you want to buy, constantly buy, becomes a pain. Meanwhile, you need it. So to get them that, you will need to look at what they will get, what gains they will get if you give them a solution. And then you match your product before you create a prototype with it. You match it to these people. So what products and services do you have on offer? Problems, especially their challenges. And the most classic example we give every time is the ability to pay, the purchasing power, the person's ability to pay what you are selling to them, right? To pay for it. So, for example, now people are doing a lot of payment plans. People are doing credit sales. People are also doing high purchase. So you pay everything, I'll give you the product, right? So I'll give you like 2 months pay. So the person wants to eat granite soup and he can pay for 2 months before he gets a granite. Then you're good. If not so, you give him a reason to pay and get the product as soon as practicable, right? And then what gains would they have? Would they have reliefs? People move by fulfillment. People move by passion. People move by some level of luxury attendance to their needs. So he wanted a Benz, could not afford, but he watched his salary. Then he said, I could give you a Benz, you pay within 5 years. I could give you a house, real estate, you pay within 2 years. I could give you X, you give me within that. He's relieved and then he is indebted to you. So when you need spare parts, you can add a value chain to your business and still sell to him on piecemeal basis. Finally, your prototype is the first version, basic version that you can build upon. And then your MVP, your most valuable product, is most viable product, is a basic version to test the idea or the product to be able to launch and build upon. The difference is that this one is only to give you an idea of what you want to introduce. The other one, you can start selling, like we said, and be building upon it from customer feedbacks and the rest. How to build that, and then a lean strategy is in these steps. If you can really follow this in the next 2 minutes, we should be done, and then we can go down for the Q&A. Are we on the same page? Before there, super. So you define the goal you have for this MVP, your prototype. Like I said, the thing you want to launch, the product, the service, the package, whatever it is. And I heard someone ask about if you want to help people with career guidance and counseling, how do you go about it? It's a full-fledged thing you can actually build in the next 10 minutes. And if you're really serious, you can get funding sources, and one of them out of maybe 10, you can get a chance with them. And that gives you a lot of leverage and income, right? But your goal should be very clear. Market research, I've shared a document on market research. It will give you. you need to understand how the market is, like what target, what segment you want to reach and everything. These are a lot of marketing technologies, forgive us. And then you create your first product, the first one, and look at it. This one is for your own consumption. Sometimes you can even hang it somewhere and get an IP over it, intellectual property license or copyright or anything you want over it, right? And then the step 4 is that you prioritize and develop features to be able to present your MVP. You start by testing them. You build a UI, how the visibility is, user interface. This is because you're dealing with a software kind of thing, but apply it to how your product will look like, what you call brand, what you call packaging, right? How you promote the stuff, the colors you use and everything. You build a minimalistic, don't be too like me, don't be too, I've been like that for years. I just reprinted some 4 or 5 years ago, right? Don't be too perfectionist, too much of a perfectionist. And then you develop one thing that works so that we can now test, iterate it, and then gather feedback from people who use. They should be close pals, just like we're going to test the platform, because I've done ClickUp, done Notion so far. This man introduced me to what you mentioned, something Asana, yes. But I've not really used this, so I would want to explore it because of the predictability that it comes with. And then we are saying that you launch and you monitor. The problem we have is that once we launch a business, some of us, we go to sleep. It's so fulfilling that we tap ourselves and we tickle ourselves, we start laughing. Hey, I've done some. No, it's not enough. The Mark Zuckerberg, the Elon Musk, they're not sleeping. They're actually creating Gen 4, Gen 5 of Starlink, which is still working. But they're creating something else on top. You need to add on and be able to develop from there. Once you are able to create that community, that same community will give you feedbacks, you analyze them to be able to build better. And then you determine your next steps. One of them is to relaunch. Then relaunch as many times as you want. Sometimes it helps you with pronouncing your visibility. It helps you with just making sure people know about you. So basically, this is the steps to be able to build a product. And like I said, you want to spend 2 hours with you to analyze this one-on-one on what idea you have. You pick the side you want to work on, and it's for free. But once I leave here, you pay. This is simple, and I'll skip it because I'll give you the document. It's not difficult. And this is also for another product. So we need to apply it to your product, your sector, and your industry. And then I wanted to discuss with you how to fund your business. Most of us want investors, too much investors. Sometimes you need to start from somewhere before you go to investors. But I guess this is as simple as you read, right? And then I shared with you some other things that this money did request from you to give you. Marketing and branding a product. But I wanted to speak about them, I want to skip them, so we'll deal with it downstairs. And then finally, some few references to read more, and some books I decided to share with you to read. I like to read, but I don't read abstract. I can actually read the prologue of a book, introduction, table of content, forward. And I go to read the conclusion, I'm done. Tells you, forgive the old man, I'm now bored. So these are other books I want you to read. Sometimes, like Ellie said, this is a whole thing, this is a foundation. What is the purpose of this there? What the people without the purpose is most of the time, all the hours you spend here. And then the 48 laws of power, Robert Greene. Sometimes people think that it's too evil. But I like it because it makes you become like Elon Musk. Until you want to give perhaps your abilities. Right? And then the richest man in Babylon, George S. Classic. And then Sun Tzu, The Art of War. It's strictly business. And this is me, this type and number. And then let's talk later. You can find me on most of the social media handles. Or Emmanuel K, Larbi. Thank you for having me.